Ensign Boimler's girlfriend is as real as a hopped-up Q on Captain Picard Day. Jet is like a Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles, and working on the Vancouver screws you up. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
A.k.a. Jake Sisko, of course. We are joined today by a very special guest, our associate producer, Mr. Rex A. Wood.
Hello, hello.
My name's Ryan T. Husk, and today we are reviewing Lower Decks Season 1, Episode 5, called Cupid's Errant Arrow. And this is a fun one. By the way, everybody, please subscribe. Please hit the bell icon because we know everything's tough right now. We know everything's crazy, but we want to support people. We want to have fun together. And the freest way to support people is to subscribe. The not free way is to go to patreon.com/the7th-rule. But otherwise, just subscribe. Say hello. It's like a high five. It's like a thumbs up that says, thanks for doing this. We're having fun. Anyway, let's talk about this episode because I really enjoyed it. What about you guys?
Oh yeah. Really, really good episode, especially with everything that's going on. And so it's the classic thing if you've got the nerd that maybe never has a girlfriend, but now gets a girlfriend, and nobody believes he has the girlfriend. Matter of fact, especially when they talk about him, having girlfriends on the holodeck, and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's that classic one that they kind of take that turn of here's the guy that doesn't have a girlfriend, but now he's got a real girlfriend and nobody believes him, especially Mariner. She doesn't believe him at all. It's like, is this dude being done on the holodeck? That kind of thing. So yeah, just a really funny episode.
Cirroc.
Yeah.
I felt like this might have been the best episode so far. That's what I came away with. I felt like it was the best episode so far. What did you think?
I don't know if it was the best. I still feel like the last episode was better.
Mm-hmm. That's the other one for me.
Yeah, with the mom. I just, and her being demoted and getting all the menial jobs. I like that episode a lot. But this episode is in line with with the theme, and I just feel like they've really hit a nerve as far as what they want to be about on this show. And that is sticking with the comedy, sticking with their themes on the show. So I do like where they're going. They're starting to bring in other characters and develop them. So we're getting to see new characters. I think we saw, Barb's obviously his girlfriend, and then we saw this character Jet, the handsome black guy. So
he's pretty ripped too.
He's pretty ripped, and it's just good to see I feel the chemistry emerging. I feel like everybody's becoming more real to me. So yeah, I like the episode. I didn't dislike it. I just don't know if it's my favorite yet. I still think that it's in the line. It's up in the top.
Yeah, the last two for sure. Rex, you got the picture of those funny aliens. I don't remember what they were called.
Aliens. Yeah, I think they had a name because they were trying to save their planet by destroying one of their moons.
Yeah.
And what was really funny about it was that they all kind of had like a human persona to them, because you would hear all the things that we would normally hear, like people like, Greenpeace or something like that, why they shouldn't do something. And it's right. Like, my family's been living on this moon for years, and if you do this, our crops are going to go bad and all that kind of stuff. And they have to decide what moon they're going to get rid of in this episode. So there was kind of a lot going on here, because you had the deal with the girlfriend with Boimler, and then you had this whole thing going on too. Plus you had the jealousy about the two ships going on, that one's the really classy starship and the other one isn't. And, it starts out with they're in the engineering department, everything's going bad, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of our job to put, the duct tape and the stuff on this ship to keep it going. And they're real jealous about the other ship. And then, of course, towards the end, you find out that really they find out what the importance of the other ship is, about being on their own ship and what that ship means to them. So
Right.
that was actually something else that kind of ran through the episode too, is that, yeah, things aren't always greener on the other side. And sometimes your home is your home.
Sometimes they're purpler. They're,
Right.
they're, I guess maybe they'd be called the Mixtons because they're from
Yeah.
Mixtus 3.
Yeah.
Before we, really talk too much about the episode, we'll handle the elephant in the room. To me, was that holy moly, there were so many references in this episode. It was mind blowing. I mean, some of the other episodes definitely had a lot, like the very end of the first or second episode where Mariner's just naming a bunch of names. But these were everywhere. I mean, they mentioned Chicago in the 20s, which is reminiscent of the original series episode. Even though that was an alien planet that just was like Chicago in the 20s. But there were so many that I just kind of want to go over a few of them, or all of them that we found. For example, we had, let's just go over the things that so they mentioned Q. They mentioned, a hopped up Q on Captain Picard Day. They mentioned Kirk again. Kirk is being mentioned almost every episode. They mentioned Trip Tucker, who's from Enterprise, really cool dude from Enterprise, Charles Trip Tucker. They mentioned Data. They mentioned Riker. And, oh, by the way, this guy got a NAM. Did you? Nope. Well, they said parasite Husk.
There you go. A parasite.
So, not the most flattering non-appearance mention I've ever had, but it's the only non-appearance mention I think I've had in Star Trek, as they mentioned the word Husk 3 times. For those of you at home, I'm Ryan T. Husk, not a parasite.
No
P in there. Parasite. Not Ryan Parasite.
He's a paradise.
Paradise. Yeah.
They also mentioned a salt succubus, which could very well be the salt monster right here.
Yeah.
A quick question before you move on, Ryan.
Yeah.
Where was Data mentioned and how? And also, how was Trip Tucker mentioned?
Okay. So Trip was mentioned when they said he's like a Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles. Yeah. Meaning like he's a sexy dude, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
And Data was mentioned in the flashback, when it shows the flashback scene of like when Mariner's like, I've seen some things, man, and some stuff, and then they go back in the flashback and she says, and she's talking with the people and they're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, have you seen what's going on in the Enterprise? Data's got an evil twin brother that he learned that teamed up with the Borg. And so they're talking about the Best of Both Worlds, parts 1 and 2, one of the best two-parters ever in the history of Star Trek. So they're talking about that as if in that flashback that was happening right then, which would be like 1991-ish or 90 or 91 to us. Also, one thing to mention in that scene, something that's really cool is they were wearing different uniforms. Yeah. They were wearing the uniforms that Cirroc, you guys later had on Deep Space Nine in the later seasons. Remember when they had like the gray tops? It was like black bottom and gray top and like the purple, whatever. She was wearing that. They were all wearing that. So it was like, and it's also called like the First Contact uniform because they had that in First Contact, the Next Generation episode. Yep. And lastly, for uniforms, when Mariner was out in her spacesuit gear flying over to, the thing, she looked like she was wearing the spacesuit that they wore in First Contact as well. I believe it was Picard and Worf and Hawk, Lieutenant Hawk. Yeah, right. So that could have very well been the same thing. So that was a lot of, just so much stuff. Oh, no, it was a parasitic exoskeletal husk. That's not as bad. Exoskeletal husk sounds like my
Did you also notice when they were in the bar, they made a reference to how Next Generation, what kind of series it was, because she said, and they go, it seems like it's something every week.
Yes, that was the next thing she said, right?
Yeah, that was really funny too. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to really talk about that series.
Yeah, when she mentioned Data, then the other one's like, what? It's like a new thing every week with those guys. Which is
Okay.
obviously a funny little nod there.
Yeah. A little bit more of the F-bomb in this too this time. If you notice, we are getting a little bit, it's getting bleeped out, but we're hearing it a little bit more. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely relevant, but, you know, you're just hearing it more often now. But really, really funny stuff. Funny stuff.
Last bit of references until I see other ones in my notes. When the guy freaks out that's trying to get them to get Tendi and Rutherford to stay with the T-88, he says he's like tired of being there. He says, it's like, tow the space station, calibrate the Dyson sphere, go back in time and kill the guy that was worse than Hitler. Dyson sphere, we mentioned before. Tow this space station. That was in the first episode of Deep Space Nine. That was in The Emissary, tow the space station. And go back in time and kill the guy that was worse than Hitler, I think was probably a reference to Enterprise, which was the beginning of the fourth season. They started with a three-parter, three episode little arc. It was happened in Nazi Germany, and there was like aliens, and it was terrible. It was not very good, but then fourth season got really good after that. Anyway, I think that was the reference because it was Nazi Germany and there was this alien, right? And everybody, guys, in the comments, let us know if you agree with these or all the things that we missed, because there's probably a ton of them. I had my own personal reference, which was when Boimler thinks that his girlfriend Barb and cool guy Jet are having humpies and behind, whatever. And she's like, oh, it's so big. Let's try to make it fit. And I was like, dude, that is such a nod to Three's Company. Okay. If anybody's ever watched reruns of Three's Company, that was every episode. Every episode was like, I'm overhearing this thing and oh my God, I'm so shocked. And then they come in and they're just tickling a puppy on the stomach or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my list there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because in your backdrop, Brian, in some of the pictures you have, it looks like Bigfoot. Is that the Bigfoot?
Yeah, it is. You're right. Yeah. That's the famous Bigfoot thing. Yeah. And this is I'm blanking on their name. What are those guys called? They're from Enterprise too. The Suliban. The Suliban.
Yeah.
And the whales from Star Trek movies, Cardassian.
Yeah.
See, I thought that was Dan Aykroyd from Coneheads. It's not, I guess.
Maybe.
And so they have the whale. Is that the whale from the Star Trek movie?
Yeah, was that Star Trek 4 or 5, Rex? 4? 5? Okay.
5, Voyage Home. Yep.
Yeah, that's the one with the scene that was weird to see Spock laughing and giggling in the water. He's like laughing and giggling and splashing water on each other. I was like, wait.
What are you doing to this man?
I don't get it.
But there were some good parts in that movie too. The bus part still is one of my favorites, where they're on the bus and the one guy with the loud music. That's just perfect.
Also, a cute little nod was, and this is something we talked about last week, I think, was when they were in the hallway and they wanted to come into whoever it was, their quarters, and they hit the little doorbell and it made the chirp from Next Generation, that little ding dong thing. It made me so happy. That's probably the happiest thing, was that sound that I didn't even realize really existed until I heard it. Yep. They did it again in that like astrometrics lab where Barbara was doing her work. Yeah, there were all kinds of Next Generation Enterprise sounds in there, all the bells and whistles and dings and dongs. So that's awesome. It makes you feel like you're right back there.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts on that, Cirroc? Did you catch all? You had all those too, right?
I didn't catch the bells, and no, I didn't catch all of that. I caught the dialogue, which I thought was also clever.
Right.
And there were points there that I thought was hilarious. When Boimler, for example, says, "Would you be quiet? I got to lie about who I am to trick her into liking me."
Exactly. After he just does the thing about after he just does the talk about being yourself, you know,
Right.
and stuff like that. And he goes, "Now be quiet. I got to fix this up. I got to figure out how I'm going to be more impressive to her." Absolutely. So,
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I also like the line. There was another line there I thought it was hilarious, where you know, Boimler he just spilled the beer on Barb's.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to be all cool, and he orders a beer and he spills it on her, and then she's really pissed off about it, and then she's out of there, and she says, "I can walk by myself."
Yes.
Come on, Jet, walk me.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a good one. Yeah. Also another reference. Sorry, I just took notes out of all of these that I caught, but another one was when Mariner is saying what kind of alien that Barbara might be. She says, you know, salt succubus, like I mentioned, android spy. She goes, one of those sexy people and rompers who murder you for walking on the grass. That's probably in reference to a first season Next Generation episode in which Wesley Crusher accidentally like catches a ball and falls on the grass. And these people are wearing the most scandalous outfits. I don't know.
Romper?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I saw a shout out to the Yosemite. Did anybody pick that up?
Mm-mm.
There was a ship called the Yosemite. You did?
Actually, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. No.
Yeah, I think it's that ship behind you, actually, Rex.
I have
the Yosemite.
I saw it on there. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just written really, really quick. They didn't mention it, but it was in the background.
Yeah. And I like the part. Well, what was funny also is where, you know, they're on the shuttlecraft and they're saying what they're saying. Boimler comes running in the back of it, and it's actually, if you look behind me, you can see him pointing his finger at him, and he goes, "I hear sex," you know, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
And that was really funny, you know. And
he says sex. You're not sex.
You're not sex. I hear sex. You know, that kind of thing. And it was really, really embarrassing for the poor boy. That's all I can say. You know, the other part that's embarrassing is the astromester slab where he comes busting in and then knocks all the planets all over the place. And then, of course, Jet has to fix it. You know, and he's trying. Boimler's they're doing us, and he can't get it to fix. And Jet just goes, "I'll take care of it for you." And he comes and pushes a few things, and it all just comes together again. You know? Yeah. And here you are with your girlfriend, and you just can't get the tech right. You know, and the guy that you're really upset with, that you think is now with your girlfriend, gets it right, and you look kind of stupid. You know? So yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
And it's funny you brought that up, Rex, because I thought that one of the things that they were doing with that particular moment was playing on the previous episode, which showed Mariner being promoted even though she was doing, you know, bad stuff and messing up. So I thought that Boimler now was carrying that theme forward into this episode by being a screw up.
Yep.
So to see if he can find a way to get promoted. But that wasn't where they were going. But that's what my initial thought was.
You know, you also got to see that really good friendship between Mariner and Boimler, where she's really worried about him, and the girl being an alien, you know, really feels like, you know, there's a good friendship there. You kind of wonder if there isn't more, if there isn't going to be more down the line at this point. Yeah. But at the same time, you're sitting there going, okay, you know, she's taking care of him. She's watching out for him, those kind of things. But she's done pretty much through the whole thing. You know, she realizes he's just not at least a few cards short of the deck. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Hey, Cirroc, what do you think of these outfits that they used to have on Next Generation?
Oh, God.
You know what, Ryan? I think you just found your next cosplay.
Oh, no, I didn't. No, I did not. No, I did not.
I think
found something worse than Bashar's jumpsuit that he wears. I think that's actually a lot worse. Wow.
Yes. That was the episode that we didn't win Best Wardrobe.
No, well, there were some people that really liked these wardrobes.
Jane
But
Fonda.
yeah, it was basically the entire planet was like this, was people dressed like this. And Cirroc, the best part about it is they didn't have cars and they didn't walk. They only ran everywhere. So they just ran around. Yeah, everybody was just running in these tiny little outfits. This poor guy looks like he's definitely already sunburned.
Yeah.
I didn't know David Hasselhoff was in an episode of Star Trek. That's pretty interesting. But what episode is this? Is the Next Generation episode?
I believe it's called Justice.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing that outfit any justice. I'll tell you that.
Was that like they had a very low budget that week on costume? And pretty much toilet paper, maybe? I don't know. I mean,
it's kind of like a college party where you just have to wear a toga, one of those toga parties.
I'm looking at the bottom portion of the males, and that just I don't know.
What about this one?
All right, that's it. This is a kid show, man. This is a kid-friendly show. What the heck is that?
Wow.
It's a Star Trek, dude.
They showed this on television?
They did.
This is first season Next Generation. This is why you guys were lucky enough to start in 1992, not in 1987, because all this kind of stuff got ironed out. This kind of stuff went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that made old Star Trek fans not like Next Generation. Was when they were I mean, we had some, TOS had some weird costuming in it too. But this just really takes the cake, I think. I don't know what somebody was even thinking here. Wow.
So we'll take a quick break. This might still be here when we get back. Might not.
Hopefully not.
We're hoping it's
gone. We'll be right back on the 7th Rule. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the 7th Rule with Cirroc, Lofton. And, that was nice. And
a little pink.
Commander Rex A. Wood. I'm Ryan T. Husk. We have a better, there we go. Nice. You got it. We have a better background. And Rex, you got an awesome background. What was that alien's name?
Yeah, some kind of, it's like I can't even remember. It had some weird names. Slime, but it was.
I got it. It was a Harvongian shapeshifter.
Shapeshifter, that's what it was, and it
or
was
shape changer, they called it.
Shape changer, and then it was they were talking about the guy that her friend was dating this guy that was kind of hot like Jet was, and this is what happened was that she makes a joke. She goes, "It's not like you're a shapeshifter," and all of a sudden he turns into the shapeshifter. And there's blood all over Mariner's face, so that her friend had admitted her demise by the monster at that point. So yeah, it was another wonderful part. Absolutely.
I really did like, though, just the attention to detail with this episode. I had to pause it so many times to write down all of the references, because if you don't, then you miss the next few references and you don't know what's going on in the episode, because meanwhile, there's an entire episode going on. So they don't really bring back storylines as much. It's more that they name drop. She says, "Oh my God, it's going to be a this or a that or a this or that, or this guy's just like Kirk, or this guy's just like Spock, or whatever." But but that's okay, because it's fun that they're naming all these things. And I thought it was a great attention to detail again when they did that flashback scene you had, Rex, up until this pornographic scene that you just pulled up. And it was great that they were wearing the First Contact and late Deep Space Nine uniforms. That's great attention to detail, because they would be at that time. What scene did you just pull up, Rex?
That's the scene where she bursts in trying to save him, and it's the time that he thinks himself and his girlfriend are actually going to have sex, and he's naked doing the captain's log, and then he stands up and shows the captain's log almost at that point. But if you notice, they actually kind of put the square thing on it in part of it and not show it.
Right.
And so the comment came up from people that I know that saw it was, who's cosplaying that one?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
just the black bar.
The black bar, and that's it. You know, I'm sure somebody will.
Nice. Somebody will.
I don't know if they'll be let into a convention,
No.
but they can try.
Somebody will have a picture of it somewhere. Look what I'm cosplaying, you know. But yeah, that was interesting. So the first time we get to see animated nudity, you know, at the same time. So, you know, hey.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a first for everything in Star Trek.
There is. Star Trek is always a first for things, and we get to say, I'm sure there's been other animated before, but this first time in Star Trek in an animated series, if you go back to the original animated series, we never saw anybody like this. And everybody's fully clothed. Everybody's in their animated uniforms, you know. But it was a funny part. I think it was still a funny part with her walking in, and you know, it's that kind of stuff you kind of expect out of this at this point, is that
awkward
stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now also there was go ahead, Cirroc.
No, I was just going to say really quickly, I believe that this scene is something that I saw when they were running the trailer for Lower Decks in the beginning, because I remembered this little bit of nudity, and I said, oh, that must be that little clip that they were playing when they were advertising, you know, this new animated series coming out. So we finally got to the moment. I said, oh, all right, we're here.
Yeah.
Now there was also a pretty cool B plot with Rutherford and Tendi Roney, and I think they're really cute together. It's fun to see them both be super excited about nerdy stuff. You know, they're just like really into it. They're really excited. It's not, you know, it's a friendship, but they're not really laying it on too thick, you know, because they're competitive with each other. They're almost like siblings in how fun they are together. And I thought it worked. If you'll remember, after the second episode, I was saying, I hope they don't always just have Boimler and Mariner together and Tendi and Rutherford together always. You know, it'll get old, but they mixed it up well because it was the two of them interacting with this guy and competing, and Mariner and Boimler, but then there was the whole other ship going on. I thought it worked really well this time. Yeah. What do you think about
different plots going on in this too? I mean, it just wasn't, you know, on Mariner and on Boimler, but there was stuff going on the whole time. The aliens, and going on with those two, getting the gentleman, the officer that was trying to trade places with them, and fake transfers and fake his own transfer, you know, and that's where the plot comes in about how you get more appreciative of your home or your home ship.
Right.
That, you know, absolutely.
Cirroc, what do you think of the subplot there, or I should say the B plot? You think that works? You liking these characters a bit more? Or is it? What do you think?
I'm still lacking on those characters. I still think there needs to be more identifiable characteristics about them. And the other problem I have is that they're very similar. They're both, you know, real science, you know, centered people, and they're almost the same characters. So I just feel like they need something separating that identifies them. That's why I said I like the way Rutherford had that cyborg twitch,
and he used his implant finally this time for you.
Yeah, he finally used it, which I was happy to see that they brought the cyborg part back into the mix, where he says it's not like I was recording everything with my cyborg eye. And I thought that, but I was, and then you can see the end recording, like, you know, press stop on his eye. So I like that. I like that. I feel like they need to lean more into the awkward mix of cyborg, human, you know, kind of malfunctioning or whatever it is that they're going to do. They need to lean farther that way with Rutherford. They can keep Tendi the way she is, but I think Rutherford needs to be something different. There's has to be something more unique about his character. But I did like also in this particular scene when they were battling and having their conversations, they were arguing over who deserves the T-88 more.
Yeah.
And it was like an argument between the science department and the engineering department. Like, no, I can use it for this. No, I can do it for this.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of pitting them against each other in that kind of a way too.
Absolutely.
That's kind of like a Bashir versus O'Brien thing right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I like that. I also like that when they were reminiscing on the sound of the door. The sound of the door. Whoosh.
Yeah, they both said whoosh.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was kind of cute too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cute. Yep.
Okay. So I don't think we're going to see any, these characters again from the, what was the ship? The new ship. It was called
the Vancouver? No.
Vancouver, right.
Vancouver.
And this was the first time they named a ship that wasn't California, related in some way.
Yeah.
As far as we know, Vancouver is either in British Columbia, Canada,
right.
or there's also Vancouver, Washington.
Yep.
But that's because it's a different class of ship. I forgot what the class was, but it was a different class of ship. So I guess the class that Cerritos belongs to and everything in it is all going to be California related, which Cirroc and I love because we're like, whoa, that's Cerritos. Whoa, it's Yosemite. Whoa, it's this thing.
Yeah.
Santa Ana. Yeah.
The USS Bakersfield.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, Bakersfield. I mean, shout out to Bakersfield, I guess.
Yeah, shout out. Hey, but the captain of the Vancouver, I thought was interesting because he actually gave his full name at some point in the episode, and his name was Ron Emanuel Docent Jr.
Yeah.
And it caught my attention because his name is Ron Emanuel, which is very close to Rom Emanuel.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was any connection there, but it jumped out at me.
It's rarely not deliberate, I think, on this show.
Yeah, right.
Here's a quick shout out to Bakersfield. I had some family visiting that live, they live in France, and they were visiting California to come say hello to us, and whatever. Family's visiting. They're all French. They're visiting America. They had this feeling that the dad loves to play in a rock band, so he really wanted to go see Bakersfield because there are a lot of like rock bands that have come out of Bakersfield, like Korn is one of them and others. And I remember them telling me that, and I'm like, I don't really know if there's much in Bakersfield. They're like, we've got to go see Bakersfield. It's kind of like this mecca. Like in his mind, all these rock bands have come out of Bakersfield throughout history. So that was this mecca. And they went. And we asked them, so how was Bakersfield? And they're like, it was just all a bunch of cows. It's just cows. It was just cows. And I love to just picture them like driving through thinking they're going to see like the next Austin or Nashville or Hollywood, And there's just like cows everywhere. And they're like, where's the city? Where just cows everywhere.
Another cow.
Yeah, so that's a fun Bakersfield story.
Not exactly a tourist attraction. But you know what? Speaking of rockers, I thought that Boimler had like a little bit of a rock star look to him when he was dressed up trying to be impressive. And one of the things he was wearing were the Bono glasses. And I don't know if anybody else...
That's what I was trying to figure out. When he came out in that outfit, I'm like, there's got to be references to who he's dressed. I started to think, is he dressing like the Fonz? Is that like the leather jacket supposed to be the Fonz?
I wrote the Fonz.
But I didn't recognize anything else. So I was wondering, so you got Bono glasses?
Jackson in there somewhere too. And then he did the moonwalk. So he did the moonwalk as he's going backwards. So I think there was a little bit of Michael Jackson. And that may have been, the leather coat may have not been a Fonz. It could have also been from Bad. The song Michael Jackson did. So yeah, I mean there's quite a few
glasses. The glasses were like those are signature Bono glasses.
Yeah, those are that was so Bono glasses. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
This is what we got to have this in the comment section, guys. Take a still frame of that outfit and name all of the things that are referenced in there. Because each pant leg was different than the other, and each sleeve was different. But I didn't catch, it went by very quickly. So you'd have to pause it to really piece it together. But I'll bet you everything is referencing someone.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it was.
I think so. I think he had the Back to the Future shoes on.
Yeah.
Oh, that was one that
Yeah.
I do think so too. I think you're right. He had one Back to the Future shoe, like the self-pumping up ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I picked up. So I don't know. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But
No.
I think so too.
I felt like it was an amalgamation of a bunch of celebrities that we've seen over time, and he's like, I want to look really cool. I want to look like the hip guy or whatever. And that was what the computer came up with. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yep, absolutely.
I thought the highlight of the episode too was, I'm sorry, go ahead, Rex.
No, but I said the girlfriend thought he was sexy too. She was like,
she did.
You're looking all sexy, and then you opened your mouth.
Then you opened your mouth.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Problem I have all the time.
Don't feel bad, Boimler. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah. It happens to those of us who don't have dumb names like Boimler too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, one of the big highlights of the episode to me was they're arguing over which moon to destroy, and they're having this debate. Yeah. And then it's like this huge joke. He's like, so how many people live there? It's like 2 people, me and my wife. Yeah. We're rich.
Yeah.
They said both of my civilization.
Both of my.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, both?
People live on your moon too.
Yeah, we're rich.
Yeah, we're
like,
rich.
Oh, you're rich? Okay, well, then
you blow the moon up.
My floor.
Do it.
Yeah,
blow it up.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I thought that they fit a lot into this episode. They were able to, sometimes some of the episodes have felt a little rushed to me, or like there's just so much going on that I kind of wish it would slow down a little bit. But I thought this one, it moved well. It threw so much at you. If you want to catch all the references, you can just listen for all the references that are nonstop Fast and Furious, or you could just ignore those and just watch the episode for what it is, and it moves just fine in that regard too. I also was glad that Boimler and Mariner are less one-dimensional than they were in the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes, is like Mariner is high, always way high, super obnoxious, super loud, super fast, super everything. And Boimler's like dumb, super wormy and anxious and whatever. And they've kept those aspects of them, but now they're more fleshed out characters. Like they're just, they work better. I just think that the characters are better fleshed out after the second episode. And especially the last 2, they're no longer caricatures of characters, but they're actual just characters. Right. Mariner is a genius, and she's zany, and she's loud, and she's fun and excitable, and all of that works. It all wraps around into a well fleshed out character. And Boimler, originally was just like, Mr. Anxiety, but now he's got so much more to him. He's still Mr. Anxiety, but there's a little bit more, well-roundedness to him. And I think, that's great that they're able to do that already within 5 episodes.
Right.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that they're kind of straying away from them having a relationship. I didn't like them being in a relationship, the 2 main characters, and I just felt like they're forcing the 2 of them together. And this way, they're now you can see it's like that's like her little brother or something. It's less of a relationship thing and more of just a friendship thing. So I'm happier with that as well.
Do you guys think they're going to end up smooching?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're going to try to keep them. If it happens, it'll happen by accident for some reason.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it'll be like that sister-brother kiss. It'll be like that sister-brother kiss, and they'll go, ooh, I really kind of hope they don't. I'm kind of like with you, Cirroc. They need to keep them on that kind of. She's kind of the bigger sister to him, always watching out for him and the stupid things he's doing to make sure that he doesn't get into trouble. And he's kind of that person trying to give her a little bit of reality at times of, you got to settle down a little bit too, and be a Starfleet officer and not be so, so much of that yelling person and that loud person and things like that. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that they won't come up with an episode that maybe it starts going that way, and then they realize, no, this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. I can see that, but that's it. I just hope they don't go in that direction with them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cirroc, do you think they will end up hooking up, or do you
I
think?
think they will end up hooking up, but I think it'll be I think it'll be one of those awkward, like hooking up, and let's not talk about this again. That was an accident. I think they'll end up hooking up to some degree, but it'll be like a one-time event.
Little Klingon whiskey or Romulan ale or something like that.
Yeah,
who do you think will be
like
more inclined to say, let's not talk about it anymore?
Mariner.
Yeah.
I think Mariner would be the one that I say, we're not talking about this at all. You will shut up or I'm going to put you out the airlock.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because you'll want to brag about it. Because, you're going to go, yeah, look at this. And she's going to go, don't you tell a soul or you're going out the airlock.
He'll be like, but I want to tell everybody about my girlfriend. I'm not your girlfriend. Okay, I want to tell everybody about my lover. We're not lovers. Nope. Well, what did you call it? All right, that's enough.
It's an accident. It was an accident.
Yeah.
It was the holodeck.
Yeah, don't bring it up again, Boimler.
Yeah.
So we have a few minutes left only. What do you guys think of the one-off characters like Jet, like the lieutenant that was, freaking out with Tendi and Rutherford? What do you think about those guys? Just kind of like the one-off character. Obviously, Jet was fun. Yeah. He was great. That worked out. I don't know who voiced him though. That was not up yet on IMDb when I checked.
I don't know. They should have called Cirroc for that one. He could have done.
Well, I could have. I liked Barb's character out of the new characters that they brought in. I liked the girlfriend a lot. I thought she was defined in her personality and her character. Yep. And she also made a very even match for Mariner, who's like a lot to handle, but she was able to kind of be a worthy adversary for her when they were battling each other.
Yep.
I think actually IMDb just updated it, and I think the actor's name is Marcus Henderson.
Oh, Marcus, yeah.
You don't know Marcus.
You know Marcus?
No, I know a Marcus.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of credits. Tacoma FD, Snowfall, Homecoming, lots of short films. Anyway, I think that's.
So, do you think that a lot of these officers with the receding hairline is a throwback to Picard? Because if you notice, there's an awful lot of them that their hair there's receding on it. A lot like they're getting into like that as they move up in the rank. The hair goes.
I think what they're doing. I think what they're doing is they're just trying to show that Lower Decks is about things that aren't glamorous. Nobody's perfect.
Yep.
There are short people, there are overweight people, there are balding people, there are lazy people, there are guys that scratch their butt. It's like I think they're just trying to be like, hey, it's like regular people. All the other Star Trek iterations have been like, these are the best of the best.
Yeah,
they're perfect. They're amazing. They always make the right decision. Sure. And I think this is like, we're the other guys.
Yeah, we're the bottom third. We're the bottom third, and it's okay to be the bottom third. I think that's the biggest thing about it. It's okay. And somewhat the bottom third has more fun sometimes, So you're kind of seeing that out of it too, especially with like last week's episode where they're talking about the buffer time and that kind of stuff from last week. Yeah, they're having a good time. The margaritas out of the replicator and things like that. So yeah, they're just, they're having a good time. And that's good.
Speaking of buffer time, Jet was buffer than Boimler. Yeah. So.
Oh God. Oh, no.
Anyway, we do want to go ahead, Cirroc.
No. You go ahead.
He's like, I'm not bailing you out. We do want you guys in the comments below, because this, we released this thing immediately upon, after they premiere the episode. So I'm sure there are tons of stuff that we've missed. There are tons of Easter eggs and references and storylines and whatever. So whatever we missed, let us know in the comments section below. Get that conversation going, because this is just the conversation starter. This is the appetizer. But there's a ton of stuff we probably missed, or maybe even got wrong. I'm guilty of that sometimes. So let us know in the comments below what we missed, or what you think may be something, some kind of theory. And Cirroc and I and Rex will just parse through it with a fine-tooth comb. Really just
eat it up.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. But no, I think that what they're doing a good job of is, number one, keeping it young. I feel like the show is appealing for the younger audience. So I think they're doing that. They're keeping the characters young. So that's the upper deck, lower deck kind of difference that you were talking about, Rex, with the receding hairlines for the senior officers. So they're really making a distinction about the youth of the show and what about the youth. The other thing I like that they're doing on this show is taking away the perfection of Star Trek. Star Trek really operates under the, everything. They run a tight ship, and everything's perfect, and the whole story will come to a close in the end of the episode, and with a nice bow on it, and it's all pretty. And they're completely going away from that model, which is what makes Star Trek really uniform, and now taking it to an area of more human, at least for our perspective, right? It's more flawed. There's more casual conversations. It's less stiff. So I think as long as they keep doing that, they're gonna really have a zone and a niche for themselves that I don't think anyone else can really compete with.
I agree. Right. Definitely agree.
I like it. I'm very happy for them. Not that they need my happiness, but I'm happy for them. It's always a scary thing to venture out with a new series that's trying something completely new from the franchise, So it's a bold maneuver, but I'm happy for them that they're going for it. They're gonna give it a shot, and so far it's coming together. Really, really happy about that.
Absolutely.
And I want to add one other thing is I think they're the quickest start so far that I can see in Star Trek so far out of the series. They've had the quickest start to get to whatever we would call normal.
Right.
They're coming right out of the gate and
to hit their stride.
Right, they're hitting their stride. It's 5 episodes in, and I mean, 3 out of the 5 are really good at least.
And they're 24-minute episodes. So really, it's like 2.5 or 3 regular Star Trek episodes. So, they're hitting their stride at record pace. I mean, this is basically right after Emissary. And with, Star Trek usually takes a while to get ironed out. But these guys, they're like, nope. When you have 20-minute episodes, you got to get right out on the gate on a full sprint.
Absolutely.
Cool, guys. All right. Well, let's finish up right here. Everybody, please remember to subscribe. Tell Rex what a great job he did. It's his first time joining us as a co-host.
All right.
Great job, Rex. Or if he was terrible, let him know. No, don't.
I won't come back. I won't come back. I promise.
And everything else, let us know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for joining us. And as always remember the 7th rule.